Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
From the moment Spencer and I stepped through the archway of pale pink balloons, something in him changed. I felt it in the subtle stiffening of his arm beneath my hand, the way his eyes flickered past the glittering decorations to the people gathered in clusters, cooing over Lucy's perfect belly. "Relax," I whispered, nudging him as a server drifted by with champagne. He shook his head. "I'll wait." Lucy spotted us then, radiant in silk, her hands protectively cupped over the curve of her belly. She practically floated across the polished floor of her parents' sprawling lake house. "Angel, Spencer, you made it." Her perfume hit me first. Lilies and something sharper, almost metallic. She hugged me tight but pulled back when Spencer leaned in for a polite embrace. He noticed. I saw it in the faint crease of his brow. "Lucy, this is stunning," I said, gesturing at the crystal vases, the mountain of pastel-wrapped gifts, the cake shaped like a bassinet. "Your mom must be over the moon." She laughed too quickly. "She is. And wait until you see the nursery. It's fit for a little princess." While she whisked me away to admire a table stacked with tiny monogrammed blankets, Spencer drifted near the hallway, his phone angled discreetly toward the nursery door. "Spence, what are you doing?" I hissed when I caught up to him by the fireplace. "Do you see it?" His voice was low, almost clinical. "None of this makes sense, Angel. She's on a shoestring budget, yet this? It's excessive." "And did you notice how she flinched when I hugged her?" "She's 8 months pregnant, genius," I snapped, heat rising in my cheeks. "She doesn't want people pressing her stomach." He studied me for a moment that felt too long. "Just be careful. You trust too easily." Before I could fire back, Lucy called from the other room, her voice bright as sugar. "Angel, we're cutting the cake, come." I forced a smile and slipped my hand into Spencer's, but even as the guests cheered around the table, I felt the knot in his fingers. A quiet tension coiled tight. In that moment, I knew something unspeakable was waiting behind Lucy's perfect pink ribbons. And for the first time in years, I didn't know whose side I was on. The nursery was supposed to be the crown jewel. Lucy's dream turned real in soft pinks and white lace. But the moment she threw open the door, a hush fell over the group trailing behind her. "This is where my little princess will sleep," Lucy beamed, sweeping her arm toward a pristine crib still sealed in its box. The mobile above it spun lazily, tags dangling from felt clouds. Beside me, Spencer's hand hovered near mine, as if to anchor himself. I caught his reflection in the window, his eyes tracking every unopened package, every untouched diaper stack. "Isn't it beautiful?" Lucy asked, twirling to face me. "It is," I forced out. "But when do you plan to finish setting it up?" She laughed, that too-high trill she perfected since high school. "Oh, soon. Ethan's been busy with work. And you know me, always waiting until the last minute." I glanced at Ethan standing in the hallway, his arms folded, gaze fixed firmly on the floor. He didn't even look up when Lucy called him over. "Spence," I hissed when Lucy drifted off to greet more guests, "you're making a face." He tilted his phone just enough for me to see the photos. The untouched baby monitor, the sealed crib, the receipts left carelessly on a dresser. "This isn't normal, Angel. No mother waits until 8 months to set up a nursery. Maybe she's just overwhelmed," I protested, but the words tasted stale. "You know how dramatic Lucy can be." Spencer's jaw tightened. I overheard Ethan talking to her sister earlier, something about her believing it herself. "You think that's normal?" Before I could answer, Lucy reappeared, slipping her arm through mine. "Come on, Angel, let's open presents." Spencer leaned close as she pulled me away. "Don't brush this off. Look at the details. They're the truth she can't fake." I felt Lucy's grip tighten on my elbow. I looked back once at Spencer standing alone by the untouched cradle. The perfect nursery that wasn't real. The perfect friend I couldn't defend. Somewhere deep in my chest, a hairline crack began to spread, splintering the pretty picture I painted of Lucy all these years. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, the unopened crib and Spencer's words pressed on my ribs like stones. By dawn, I'd already decided I had to know the truth for myself. Spencer was still snoring when I slipped out of bed. He stirred just as I pulled on my coat. "Where are you going?" he mumbled. "To see Lucy." Engel. He sat up, hair wild, voice low. Please be careful. I kissed his forehead and left before his worry could break my resolve. Lucy's house looked different in daylight. The pastel streamers from the shower fluttered weakly in the breeze, already half torn. I knocked twice before Lucy's younger sister, Nellie, opened the door, still in pajama pants. Hey Nellie. I think I left my cosmetic bag here yesterday, mind if I check? Nellie yawned and stepped aside. Yeah, sure. Lucy's out, doctor's appointment in the city. Knock yourself out. Inside, the house felt hollow, staged. I moved slowly through the living room, eyeing the glittering gift bags stacked neatly, unopened. The coffee table was cluttered with half a steak and an empty glass of red wine. Pregnant women didn't drink red wine, not the ones I knew. Whose is this? I asked casually. Oh, that's Ethan's, Nellie shrugged. Late dinner. Lucy had soup or something. I nodded, filing it away. Mind if I peek upstairs? Nellie didn't follow. She sank onto the couch, flipping channels. Upstairs, the nursery was exactly as I'd remembered. Immaculate, untouched, not a toy out of place. But this time, I let my eyes roam the corners. There, tucked behind the changing table, a small leather journal, its spine cracked. My breath caught as I flipped it open. My dearest daughter, the words bled across the page like a wound. Each entry a love letter to a baby that didn't exist. Some pages were hopeful. Others were jagged with grief. A floorboard creaked downstairs. I snapped the book shut and slipped it into my purse. As I headed down, I heard Lucy's voice drifting through the kitchen window. Sharp, clear. This will be over after the donation clears. I don't care what they think. Donation? I froze. My best friend, my sister in everything but blood, was weaving her grief into a net that caught sympathy and turned it into cash. Back in the car, I called Spencer. My voice shook as I whispered, "You were right. She's lying, and it's worse than we thought." He didn't say, "I told you so." He just breathed into the phone, steady and calm. "Then we get proof, and you protect yourself, Angel." I watched Lucy's house grow small in my rearview mirror. I knew what I had to do, even if it meant destroying everything we'd once promised each other. I nearly turned back twice on the drive to Lucy's family cabin. The road twisted around Lake Morrison, each mile of pine and mist pressing heavier on my chest. "Come alone," her message had read. "I need you to hear the truth." I parked beside her white SUV, its windows fogged. For a moment, I just sat, clutching the stolen journal in my bag like a loaded gun. Lucy opened the door before I could knock. Her eyes were bare, hollow blue circles above sharp cheekbones. Not a hint of the glow she'd shown off at the shower. "You came," she said softly, stepping aside. Inside, the cabin was dim, dust motes drifting through stale beams of light. I followed her to the living room, where a single mug of untouched tea sat cooling on the table. "Why here?" I asked, my voice brittle. She shrugged, pulling a blanket around her thin shoulders. "This place always made me feel safe. Like the world can't find me here." I pulled out the journal and set it between us. "I found this, Lucy. Tell me what's real." She flinched at the sight of it, but didn't look away. 3 years ago, I lost a baby. 8 weeks. Barely more than a heartbeat. Ethan was in London. You were busy with your promotion. I couldn't accept it. "You could have told me," I whispered. Lucy gave a brittle laugh. "I did. In my head. I wrote to her every day. And then new beginnings needed funding. You know how people look at a grieving mother. Like she's fragile and worthy of saving." My throat tightened. "So you faked it all? The bump, the baby shower, the name promises. It worked, Angel. We got more donations in 6 months than in 2 years combined." Her eyes flashed, wild and sharp. "These people wanted to believe I was just like them, that I knew their pain. You used them, Lucy. You used me." Silence thudded between us, broken only by the ticking of the old clock above the fireplace. Lucy's shoulders dropped. "I thought I could fake a miscarriage soon, wrap it up. But then you started asking questions. So what now?" I asked, voice trembling. She stared at me with that hollow, desperate look. Now you keep my secret. Please, Angel. You're all I have left." I looked at my oldest friend, the liar I loved, and realized the cost of truth would break us both. 3 days later, the truth burst like wildfire. An anonymous post exposed Lucy's fake pregnancy, the promised baby names, every lie. Donations vanished overnight. The news crawled through town like poison. When she showed up at my door, drenched and trembling, I almost didn't let her in. "Angel," she whispered, "don't let them take me. You know me." "Do I?" I said, voice cracking. Police lights flickered through the rain. It was me who called the police through my tears. Spencer's hand tightened around mine. "You did this," she hissed, eyes wild. "You ruined me." "You did that yourself," I said, stepping back. They led her away. No bump, no mask, just a woman hollowed out by her own lies. Later, I sat alone with her journal in my lap, pages warped with tears. Friendship had blinded me, but truth had freed me. Painfully, finally. Outside, dawn broke over the lake, quiet and clear. Some endings don't heal, but they make us whole.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.